Hello learners, today we are going to study about squares on the topic of squares and square roots. So, a square is a number, a number is the product of the number by itself. It is the product of a number by itself. So, you can be asked to get the square of a number. For example, the square of number 7. The square sign is a small 2 above the number. So, the square of 7 is 7 times 7, which is 49. Another example is number 9. You can be asked to get the square of the number, which is 9 times 9, which is 81. Let's have another example. Question 2. Find the squares of the following numbers. The first number is 18. So you are being asked to get the square of 18, which is 18 times 18. 8 times 8, 64. 8 times 1, 8 plus 6, 14. 1 times 8, 8. 1 times 1, 1. That is 4, that is 12. The square of 18 is 324. That was question A. Question B is the square of 28, which is 28 squared. We multiply 28 by itself. That is 64. 8 times 2, 16 plus 6, 22. 2 times 8, 16. That is 5. You get 784. So the square of 28 is 784. Let's do another example. Question 4. What is the square of 63? The square of 63 is 63 times 63. 3 times 3, 9. 3 times 6, 18. 6 times 3, 18. 6 times 6, 36, plus 1, 37. You get the square of 63 is 3969. We can also be asked on squares of fractions. For example, the square of 7 over 9, which is multiply the number on top and the number at the bottom. The number on top is the numerator and the number at the bottom is the denominator. So you do 7 times 7 over 9 times 9. 7 times 7 is equal to 49, and 9 times 9 is equals to 81. So the answer is equals to 49 over 81. The other example is 9 over 13. You are asked to get the square. So it is 9 times 9 over 13 times 13. 9 times 9 is 81. Divide by 13 times 13 is 169. If you can subdivide, you divide by 3 to get. Dividing by 3, this is divisible by 3, but 169 is not divisible by 3. So you leave it that way. So let's try another example. Question 1, part C. Work out the square of 3 over 4. So the square of 3 over 4 is 3 over 4 times 3 over 4. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16. So 9 over 16 is our answer. The other part is the squares of decimals. For example, you can be asked to get the square of 1.34. So you can count the numbers ahead of the decimal point, which is 1, 2. So you write the whole numbers, which is 1, 3, and 4, over 1, 2. So it becomes 100 times 134 over the numbers ahead of the decimals are 2, so you have 2 zeros. So it is 134 over 100 times 134 over 100. And then you write your answer in terms of decimal. So you multiply 134 by 134. Three times 3, 9, plus 1, 10. 3 times 1 plus 1, that is 4. 1 times 4 times 1 times 3, 1 times 1 becomes the same thing. 6, 5, 9, 7, 1. So it becomes 17,956. Divide by 100 times 100 is the 4 zeros. So it is 10,000. So we bring the decimal point back to the position. So you count 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is between 1 and 7. So it becomes 1.7956. That is our answer. Okay, let's try a number which is 2.13 squared. So you can multiply 213 by 213. That is after removing the decimal point. 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 1, 1, 1 times 2, 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4. After adding, it becomes 45,369. Now you count the numbers ahead of the decimal point. If it was 2.13 and 2.13, the numbers ahead of the decimal point are 1, 2, 3, 4. So you count the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and you put the decimal point. So it becomes 4.5369. And that is our answer. Learners, you can try the following tasks to test yourself. That is the end of our topic on squares under the topic of squares and square root. Bye bye learners.